Hello, my threeple, and welcome back to the Triple A-Pex podcast. We are here for the sixth episode, and we have a new schedule, so we're now going to be doing the episodes on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, if you want to tune in live, this is when we're going to be tuning in now, and this will be uploaded sometime after the podcast is done. Anyways, once again, we're here for the sixth episode, and we got some stuff to talk about in terms of Apex Legends. We're going to be giving our thoughts about season 10 so far, and there are some leaks that we're going to be getting into as well in regards to a future event. And we'll find out something else to talk about later on. So, yeah. So, starting off with our season 10 thoughts. Keeper, how do you feel about season 10 so far?
It's really good. Probably one of the best seasons they released since like season 3.
Yeah, I can agree. Season 10 has actually been pretty good so far. Really fun. Like, the legend is really good. The new weapon's really good. Map changes are nice. Like, I don't think too much of them, but pretty cool. So, yeah, this season has been off to a decent start. Pretty decent start, I must say. And ranked
Yeah,
arenas is also pretty cool. And to be honest, like, well, I wouldn't say ranked arenas is easy at all, but I just find it a little more fun than battle royale. I think probably because there's like more contest in it, and yeah,
it's less RNG.
yeah, because like pretty much this is a given for just arenas in general. Like you get to choose whatever weapon you want, and that eliminates a lot of RNG and stuff. Everything is just set in a certain order.
Yeah, and some of the maps are really good. You have easy access to heals, and if you're playing in ranked or normal arenas, then it's just more fun. You don't have to worry about getting third partied or um, other stupid stuff happening, like with RNG or getting a stupid weapon off drop because you can buy what you want.
Yeah. What else was I gonna be saying or gonna be asking? Oh yeah, don't you have like a specific arena map that you really like?
Yeah, the new one the new POI Oasis
Yeah,
from
Oasis.
Worlds. Wait, what is it? From Olympus. Yeah,
Oasis is a pretty decent arenas map, I must say. I, well, I wouldn't necessarily say the word versatile, but you can really think of some interesting plays like on that map.
yeah. I feel like it's a lot more balanced than other maps because I feel like in some maps, like Party Crasher and Oasis, if you go to get heals or crafting materials, you can get punished for going out in the open. So it's really good. That's why you need to play characters like Pathfinder, Wraith in certain maps, especially for ranked, because you need to think a lot more strategically.
Yeah, true. And Oasis is like a mirroring map, kind of similar to Party Crashers. Like one side's like the same as the other, and one side is also the same as the other. But not exactly though, because then again, like you have the two midsections on both sides that are different.
Yeah, I don't know why I like it so much. I guess it's probably the color scheme and it just feels nice and it's an open area.
Oh yeah, the color scheme is really nice.
Yeah. The other map the other maps are also good. Um I like the Rift and Oasis and Party Crusher. Probably my least favorite map is Overflow because the dark color scheme and all the clutter that's around the map,
Oh
like
yeah,
all the clutter in the sky.
there is definitely a lot of stuff like you gotta get around on Overflow. Like it is kind of like a map where it can be like sort of a distance fight, but I feel like you really gotta be well good at positioning and getting to where exactly the other team is to try to win. I guess Overflow is a bit more of a strategic map. But Oasis is also a strategic map to play on. But I feel like with Overflow again, like because of all the clutter, you really gotta like think a lot more about positioning. And there are some places good places to position yourself on Overflow, but it can still be a little tricky.
Probably, you know that one spot, the room with a large gaping hole in it? with the windows and two doors.
I think. Wait.
It's like the main section in the middle. It has
Oh
that
yeah.
large open area. Yeah, I
Hmm.
really did not like that spot. It would have made sense if they added a third doorway instead of just that gaping area.
Yeah. That is a pretty
It's
unpredictable
hard to set up
spot.
there. If
Yeah.
you don't have a Watson, it's so hard to set up in there because they can easily poke you from the windows. They can throw nades through the windows if you don't have a Watson, or if you do have a Watson and you just didn't buy your ult, you can climb through the windows easily. It's just very stupid. And
Yeah.
plus, on the clutter that's in the area, like when you're playing Pathfinder, you can easily like knock yourself on something, or when you're playing Octane, you have to place the pad in a very
Yeah.
specific spot.
The jump pad is like insanely hard to place on any
Yeah,
of the spots. I also Horizon, and I've been playing Horizon a little bit recently, as you may know. Like it's like I wouldn't say it's necessarily hard to put down any of the gravity lifts, but because there are a few open gaps. So I feel like Horizon's kind of like a exception when it comes to getting good height because it's like you're static in one spot and like the places where you can like get high enough like it can give you a good view over the area, but there again there is still like not much like openness in terms of like um height abilities like the gravity lift
yeah.
or the jump pad or grapple.
And another thing, because I've been playing Horizon a lot, especially on Oasis, um, I feel like she's not very good on overflow because there's probably like only one spot near the. I mean, it depends where you spawn, but on that area that has that steep dip, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, the slope.
Yeah, I feel like she's only good there because you can easily get onto high ground just with a gravity lift, but on the other section you don't have anywhere to go. It's just kind of useless right there. Her black hole is also really good, only on that one section of the map though. Near the room
Oh yeah,
and
that
somebody set
actually
up in
would be a
there.
really good spot. I feel like the
Yeah, her
black
black hole is just
hole
really good.
I feel like the black hole's a little more versatile than just being able to go into that room though. Like as long as you like
Yeah,
get like
you can just pull people out of cover. It's really
yeah,
easy to use.
yeah, and I actually think I'm starting to become a little bit more of a Horizon main now because I've been trying to play a lot more Horizon like ever since the beginning of season 10. It's interesting to
I've
say the
been
least.
I've been using a lot of different characters. Um, Mainly Seer because he's a new legend and I want to get good with him. And other
Yeah.
characters just because I can't find a steady main to use. Sometimes I'd go Wraith, Pathfinder, Octane.
Yeah,
I don't really know who.
I've been trying to like move around more to play like more legends because like I've mained Wraith for quite some time now for pretty much 5 seasons, and I hit 3,000 kills on Wraith and still no 20 bomb or 4K damage. Rest in peace. But I didn't. Yeah, I just feel like I want to play like a different legend now or try out all the other legends because it's good to like be able to play like most of the legends on the roster.
Yeah, it's good to get good with all legends so you have more skills and more power with other you know
And more
abilities, I guess.
knowledge.
Yeah, so you can know who works well.
Yeah.
Um, and another thing is because that character can get nerfed and they wouldn't be viable anymore. Like what happened with Pathfinder in like season 2 or season 3.
Yeah, it's a good way to figure out like who's gonna be like your secondary choice or your third choice, like just in
Yeah,
case if someone picks your main and whatever.
it's good to be like really versatile as a player
Yeah, true. And
because the meta could shift.
yeah, and while we're kind of on the topic of legends, how do you feel about the season 10 legend so far, Seer? Well, I think we already know
Uh,
your thoughts, but
yeah, he's OP. He's OP.
yeah, I definitely say he's borderline overpowered.
Yeah,
Like I don't ex-
like the first thing that I would say. Okay, so his tactical is overpowered. Like, okay, You can scan virtually a whole team, just if they're in that small area, and even then, it's still pretty wide. I mean, it's not as wide as Bloodhound's sonar scan, but it is wide enough to where you can scan a small part of the area, and it does 10 damage. That's like 10 whole ticks. Like that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Like this is so easy when you finish a character if you get someone one shot, like literally one shot, not 50 health. Um, and his passive is probably the best passive in the whole game.
Yeah, true. The Harpy passive is really, really useful and really powerful as well. The tactical is also really powerful. Can't deny that. But the thing, and his ultimate is also pretty decent, to be honest. Like, I don't
Yeah,
have much of a problem with it.
I feel like it's good to prevent third parties because if you're stuck in a choke point, you can put it behind you when you're trying to take a fight, and you know if somebody's coming or not.
Yeah,
Or you can just do it to engage a fight, and you can survey the area. And plus, he's a recon legend, so you can scan the ring where the next ring is gonna be.
yes, scanning the ring. Ooh,
Oh yeah, and his you can also see his health bars from other players or enemies,
yeah, when
which
you're
is
armed with
also
the
crazy.
tactical.
It's good to know who you should, focus on.
Yeah, it is. He is a very useful legend when it comes to knowing like that information about like the health bars. That's the most useful part. One of the most useful parts, and the heartbeat sensor, because you can easily know where enemies are if they're close by or not.
Yeah.
And since we're kind of on the topic of Seer being a little bit overpowered, do you think he's gonna get nerfed soon? And if so, like, how do you think they would go about nerfing him? Because in my opinion, I find it a little bit tricky to nerf Seer. Well, not
If they were to
completely, but
if they were to nerf him, they'd probably nerf the radius of his ultimate. They'd probably nerf the uh how wide or and how long his tactical can go, and they'd probably reduce his passive to 60 meters instead of 75.
yeah,
That's just what I think, though.
yeah, I would probably assume they would. Well, you said that like the 10 6 of damage was a little bit powerful, but
They should just take that away because there's no reason for that to be there.
I can get behind that. Yeah, I would definitely see like them just nerfing the distance like a little bit on the tactical and the passive. Well, I
Yeah,
think the tactical goes the same distance as the passive, does it not? Or am I wrong?
yeah, it's both 75 meters.
Oh yeah, then I would probably see them like taking it down by either 15 or 10 meters because I think that's one of the only ways to probably nerf him well. Like one thing, another possibility is make the delay a tiny bit longer on the tactical, but I feel like that would be a little too damaging. Well, not
They could
insanely
just
damaging.
do that. They could just add a longer delay instead of taking the radius off because even if they take the radius off, like especially on his passive is still super powerful. It still does the same thing. It's just a little bit shorter by like 15 meters.
Yeah, that's true. Then for a way to nerf the ultimate, like I can get behind like decreasing the radius, but I think the one thing that would probably gotta change is like the ultimate. I think it only has a well, I don't know if it's a minute cooldown. I haven't like tested it out or anything to make sure of the time, but the ultimate cooldown is really quick.
It is super quick.
So they would probably have to like make the cooldown a little bit longer. I think that's pretty much a given for that ability.
Yeah, let me see how long his ultimate is or his cooldown for it.
Yeah, the cooldown is the main thing with that ability. I'd probably say everything else with the ultimate is fine, like other than the cooldown. Like that needs to be a little bit longer, in my personal opinion.
It's 90 seconds. I feel like they should buff that to like 100 seconds, probably
Yeah, like add
a
10
little bit
or
longer.
20 more seconds onto that, and he'll probably be a lot more fine and balanced than what it is now. And I think that's all we're going to talk about for Seer as of now. And we will. So, what are your feelings on the new weapon, like the Rampage?
It's a really strong mid range weapon, and it's also even stronger with the thermite on close range because the DPS is super high when you have a thermite in it, and it's also pretty high when you're in mid range. It's like a scout with a faster fire rate and a higher mag,
Yeah,
and it's automatic. So yeah, I mean it's pretty strong.
the Rampage is pretty strong, I must say. And in my opinion, I think it's a really fun gun to use. Like, I've been trying to use it a little more in arenas, more so on Oasis, because I feel like that's a good map to use, like, mid range weapons like the Rampage. So, yeah. And
Yeah,
I'd probably say the Rampage is, like, not necessarily overpowered or balanced. Like, I would say, well, I'd probably say for what it is, it's balanced for, like, an LMG, but it does have a really powerful aspect to it, like the damage per second.
I feel like they should reduce the mag size of the purple and golden mag just by a little bit.
Yeah,
But that's about
probably.
it. That's it. Or the damage per second, or just the amount of damage you put out when you have a thermite out. But
Yeah,
that's it.
probably.
Besides that, it's pretty balanced because you can't push with that gun. If they have an R9, you're gonna get beamed if you have that gun. Like you can't fight against the R9 close range or a Volt
Yeah,
or anything else.
the only way you'd be able to like fight against like a close ranged weapon like the Volt or R9 with a Rampage is if you put the thermite in because it's a
Yeah,
burst fire rate. It does a lot more damage per second. Like that's how it would pretty much work close range. And the hip fire
yeah.
works decently on it. It doesn't work like a whole. It doesn't work insanely well on it. But I would probably say the hip fire is decent on the Rampage.
Yeah, I think it's all right. I think it's. I mean, I don't know. Hipfire's always been pretty good in Apex. If I'm being honest,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah,
so many
and
conversations I have with the fault
like
line and hip fire though.
it's really easy to hipfire, especially compared to other games like COD. It's pretty. Apex is just I don't know. It's hard to explain, but the hipfire is pretty easy to control.
Yeah,
Sometimes you can balance out the recoil when you're using hipfire by just walking to the left or right, so you can
and
counteract the
crouching.
recoil of the gun.
Crouching also works well for controlling
Yeah,
the recoil of the hip fire for certain weapons.
especially for R301 flatline and the Rampage LMG.
And probably the Havoc as well, because Havoc hip fire, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Still my favorite arena weapon to use, and what I'm most lucky with in arenas, I'd probably say.
it's very cost efficient. The same with the Prowler. Like it's like how much is it? Like 45, 4500,
For the Prowler, or
450, 450. That's what I mean to say.
oh,
Um,
and the Havoc's 350. It's like the cheapest one in arenas,
yeah,
which
I
is
feel like if you're
insane.
gonna get an SMG Prowler for like round one, you should get that. I tried running the Havoc a couple times. Um, it's all right, I guess.
Yeah, once you get like once you like get a more crafting materials and get a little more kills and get the points up, and you're able to get turbocharger, then like the game has changed. Like it can be crazy. Like the
It's just
turbo.
the recoil once you start shooting it, or like once the charge up is finished. That's the only thing that you need to worry about, and then it's a beam. Pretty easy to control after that.
Yeah, pretty much. Havoc is insane. Once again, I request anyone who watches this to use it. But anyways, going back to some new stuff. How do you feel about some of the nerfs and buffs with certain characters and weapons, or the changes with some legends and weapons this season? Because there's a few, like not a whole lot, some
Well,
significant changes.
I feel like some legends uh, should have been buffed, and then I mean, wait, did Watson get that nerf yet? Her hitbox nerf yet? I don't
No,
think she did, right?
She hasn't gotten any changes in the
Okay,
beginning
good.
of the season.
So I don't have to worry about that. Everything else seems pretty fine. The Horizon buff is pretty good. Um, and the Caustic buff is also pretty good. The Revenant nerf is, it's okay, I guess. if they were to buff him correctly, I feel like they should give low profile to like the low profile stats or whatever to all the characters who enter his death totem, like a 5% increased damage. But
Oh,
that's probably it. On the character weapon changes, which seems pretty fine. I feel like the Spitfire going in a care package is pretty good. I had an argument with Bat once about if the bow check bow should have gone in the care package instead of the alternator, or it should have just um, swapped with the what's it? Triple take, yeah. But that's probably it.
yeah, no, yeah. The changes were pretty decent. Like, I think the reason why I'm starting to play Horizon more is because the strafe speed was, well, not entirely back to the way it was before, but it's decent now. I still feel like you need to stay up in the tactical a little bit longer than just 2 seconds though. Like that would make Horizon a little bit better, like in terms of the tactical ability. I haven't really tried out we did try out like the stuff in the firing range. The caustic gas is pretty good now. The rev I don't exactly know how impactful like the Revenant Death Totem visual effect when you're
Yeah,
about to
like
get out
I feel
is
like it's
on.
weird. Like when you see the visual, like the visuals and the audio, I feel like how would that really affect your gameplay against the Revenant? Like,
Yeah, I
what
would
do you
have.
mean if you know when to shoot them or not? Like, they're still gonna shoot you back. So
Yeah, I
you know
probably would have
what I mean?
expected like more of a visual effect, like not like highlighted enemies. Like in my opinion, that would be a little powerful. But like if there's like an icon that appears when a death totem is placed, like in a certain range from you, like that would have been like a little more of a better visual thing. Yeah, I don't know.
It seemed I don't know. Revenant's death totem, his ultimate just seems really weird. It was super weak when he first came out in season 4.
Yeah,
Now it's pretty OP, and they try to nerf it. It just feels it feels the same.
yeah. It's in my opinion, it's a little bit harder to nerf Revenant. This, well, more
Yeah,
so
without
harder
making
than
him
Octane.
trash. Like if they add a radius to his death totem, nobody's gonna use him anymore. Like nobody's gonna pair him with Octane or any other character, any movement character, because you can easily overkill it and go out of the range. So if they were to nerf him like that, that's an overkill, like what they did with Horizon.
Yeah, and
But
Pathfinder all the way back then.
yeah, oh yeah, my personal opinion on Pathfinder is that they should buff him. They should buff his ultimate. Like he's still a whole fridge. Like at least work on something. And then also the Watson buff, they really should buff her too. The Rampart buff, I'm pretty sure that's going to be in like during the split.
Yeah,
But
the Rampart
yeah,
buff should be coming in the next
like the
event.
collection of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and a little more about the event we'll be talking about soon. But there's one other question I had to ask about like the legend changes and the weapon changes. What do you think about the fuse buff?
I, I mean it's okay. I still think what I said earlier, like in previous opinions on Fuse, I feel like they should have, you know, changed the way his ultimate works just
Yeah, I
by
remember
getting
that.
rid of the arch thing, or just by making it more. How do I explain it? Just give it less height and make it go farther. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
because I hate that it has to get caught on something or it get ruined by just a bad move or a bad play.
Yeah, like it should have a little more of the same accuracy that like when he throws the grenades in knuckle clusters, the same type of accuracy they have when being thrown
Yeah,
or
exactly.
launched. I think the fuse buff was okay, I guess. Like I don't think it was like insanely impactful. Like it is super useful how now like enemies are highlighted when they're stuck in the mother load. But like I
Yeah,
don't know if that was exactly enough to make him like a little more powerful. But I can agree that like he has gotten a little better. The duration of the knuckle cluster lasting like twice as long or whatever, like that was decent as well. But I still, well, I don't know about the damage, the DPS for that. I don't know if it needs to be
if
increased too
I'm
much.
if I'm gonna be completely honest, his tactical is still useless. It's always been useless. This buff hasn't changed anything. especially when they gave him two charges. That's the largest buff that they've ever given him. And another thing, like the buff that he got this season on his tactical, it's so useless. People are still gonna move out the way. It doesn't matter if you're going in chokes. Just pick caustic instead. Fuse is useless.
Yeah, I'd probably
Hot take.
say like if they wanted to make his tactical like a little more worth it to use and make it like not as useless, like definitely like increase the radius of it a little more and the damage per second should be increased because or like there could be some other effect they put on with the yeah, I don't really know. Just probably a more of a radius on it would be a lot better.
I just
And
feel like it's hard to buff Fuse because, well, first I'm not a dev, so I don't have experience with buffing characters. It's just my opinion. And another thing is, you know, I feel like Fuse is just a very trash character, because his passive is so stupid that he can shoot grenades farther. Another crazy buff idea that I had, I think it was last week during the podcast, when I said that if grenades exploded on impact, that would be OP, and that might be the buff that he needs. If I'm being completely honest, like to the
yeah, I
point that he might
remember
need to get
that.
nerfed.
Yeah, that
Like
would
it's
definitely
just
be insane.
like that would make him so much more viable. It would make him more viable than any other character that has anything to do with like offensive abilities, like caustic
Yeah,
or like holding down a choke. That's probably it,
yeah,
or just third parting.
that definitely would make him a lot more powerful and I guess a little more worth it to use. But I think like the trickiest thing when it comes to Fuse and trying to buff him is that like his abilities can easily be overpowered. Kind of
Yeah.
like going back to the passive idea for making it so grenades explode on impact. That would be an insane ability to
Well,
have
okay.
in certain circumstances.
They could just reduce the delay, when the grenade explodes, or they
Yeah,
could just they could increase the fire damage, or increase the length
yeah.
of the thermite.
There's a lot of things they could for sure be doing to buff Fuse, but they do got to be really careful because if his abilities like get like a little won't get like a certain more powerful level, I can't speak as usual. Like if his abilities go to another power level, like they could possibly be like really annoying to come up against. So the devs definitely have to be really careful about that, which is probably why it's kind of taking a little. It's a slower process to try to get Fuse to like a more of a good spot in the meta.
I don't know. He just seems like a hard character to buff.
Yeah, I mean there were Daniel Klein did say that it was pretty much a mistake adding in like an explosives legend like Fuse because it was because I can agree like well I wouldn't necessarily call it a mistake because you can still have like a really good explosive legend, but it would be have to be more of like a defensive explosive legend, and not more so an offensive. Because
Yeah, if he had like what's it called, a tripwire that he can set up, kind of like a fence from Watson, but it
yeah,
explodes when somebody crosses it.
or a satchel like from Titanfall,
Yeah, satchel.
that'd be really good as
That'd
well.
be yeah, that'd be really good. That's good for holding down or just setting up traps. That'd be awesome. Kind of like caustic, but less conspicuous.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, I think we've.
Um,
Oh, there's just something else you got to say.
I don't know. Fuse is just a weird character. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and we're closing in on the podcast, but we still have like a little bit of something to go over, and we'll first start off with something that's I wouldn't say not as exciting, but is definitely exciting. So there has been an update with the car SMG and the game files currently. So this might potentially lead us into thinking that maybe the car will come in season 11, but again, we don't really know. Like it's really hard to know like which weapons will come next, whatever. And there's a bunch of possibilities for next weapons, but the car might have a chance. And yeah, and also something else that's been in terms of like data mine information. It seems like we'll be getting a Rampart Town Takeover in the next event, and it's going to be called a big mod, and it's like some sort of uh, vehicle That's big. Like you could probably compare it to the Mont Voyage, but it's not like a aerial thing. Like it's on the ground and it has like a
like a
crane and
giant,
stuff.
like a giant automobile that moves around. That'd be awesome.
Like it's not necessarily a car though. Like if I could
Yeah, it's probably
probably
just a stationary tank
if I could
that just stays still.
probably pull up a picture of it. I don't know if I can. But yeah, you
That'd
could
be
say
awesome.
it's tank like. Okay, let me see if I can find it. And it's also supposed to be on World's Edge, like around Lava City, which will be interesting. There's
That'd
a
be pretty cool.
picture.
I was expecting like a workshop type of
Okay.
thing.
Okay, I found a picture. It's in a thumbnail though for someone's YouTube video. So, oh wait, I found the banner or a picture that was down. And let me send this in the live chat right now. Okay. So yeah, you can see it basically is a
Like,
sign or whatever. So as you can see, it's basically like a World's Edge sign you would have seen, and this is what it looks like. It's like you could kind of compare it to a crane, I guess, but it's a little more tanky. And yeah, right there, it's called Big Mod Shamond. What? And this was also leaked by Crawl Rindo, as it seems.
Shaman.
Shamond. Shame on Hammond Robotics.
True.
Yeah.
I was expecting like something else. I was expecting like a giant workshop where you could get like all the weapons are in the game that are right there. That'd be
Well,
awesome.
who knows?
Or
Maybe there's
just
like some sort of like crafting feature with weapons, or maybe like a whole artillery of weapons in there. We'll just have to wait and see like how that turns out. But it looks like a really interesting point of interest. And this also kind of further backs up that we'll be getting the Rampart heirloom, which will be really cool. And mayhaps we will definitely get a spicy buff for Rampart. Again, we just gotta wait and see. Hope this hype isn't all for nothing. And it could be possible that we might be getting some Rampart lore with like the introduction for heirloom and this town takeover.
yeah.
And I did have a theory in my previous video that there could be a future legend that's tied in with Rampart, but I can't confirm that or not. That was just a little theory I had. But anyways, so yeah, Rampart Town Takeover will be coming in the future, and Car SMG update, although we still don't know if that'll be the season 11 weapon or not. And what else? Bangalore Edition should be coming soon, but I don't know when that's actually going to be released. And of course, and also in terms of like future skins, well, these aren't future skins, but we should be getting the War Machine along with a skydive emote coming back in the near future, which is insane. There's a lot of stuff going on about that. Marble Goddess Wraith skin will be coming back in a bundle with an old Prowler skin that was forgot the name of it. That was also in the Lost Treasures event. Airship Assassin and Red Shift Octane are coming back as well soon, or whatever. Like, but I don't really want to necessarily go over stuff about skins because that stuff, in my opinion, is not insanely exciting. But what was exciting is the fact that we're getting a Rampart Town takeover, and yeah, I think that's pretty much all that we're going to be going over in today's podcast. It was pretty decent. We went over our thoughts about season 10 stuff. We went over some data mine information, and yeah. So we're gonna be ending it soon. To my YouTube audience, if you did enjoy this episode, then be sure to give it a like. And if you're brand new here to the channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on that bell icon so you can get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Also, I have a Discord server. Link will be in the description. The Discord
Join it.
server is, yes, join it. It's also where we're doing the podcast live from. So if you wish to listen to the podcast live, then be sure to join the Discord server. It'll be fun. I swear. Also, I have a gilded.
Yes.
Also, I have a gilded server. So if you have gilded and are looking for any servers to join, I'll leave a link to that in the description too. Also, be sure to follow my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/TheRealNEX. I'm going to be trying to stream a little more and stream the Ranked Arenas grind. Going to be trying to hit Diamond, but I don't know if that's possible. We're going to have to see. But yeah, once again, I hope you enjoyed. That's going to be all for episode 6 of the Triple A-Pex podcast, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.